Hi, I'm Stuart. Welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back. Thanks for viewing my video. In this video, I give my reading wrap-up for the week ending 3/7/2026. I completed one book this week, actually really late the end of last week, but it was after I recorded my previous wrap-up, so I'll just talk about that book a bit here. I read parts of two other books, so I'll talk about those two books. I'll talk about my reading plans for the upcoming week. I'll talk about the videos I released. I'll talk about the crochet project I'm working on. I'll talk about the video game I'm playing, and I'll talk about the music I listen to, and some other things too going on in my life. The book I completed was Game Changer by Reid. Like I said, I actually completed it, end of the day. 2/28/2026. I had recorded my segments for the wrap-up for that week in the afternoon, and I wasn't quite done with the book then. I'll only say beyond what I said in that video that I really enjoyed the ending, even got a little emotional in parts, and I really like this book. 4.5 stars. I'm going to read Heated Rivalry perhaps pretty soon, but I definitely, for my first sports romance, this was quite enjoyable, very enjoyable. And as I said in my last video, I thought the hockey segments held up well. They're realistic. My only minor quibble was that we didn't always get the results of the games, or say results of several games or whatever. That wasn't always quite written about, but I felt overall the hockey segments were accurate, which isn't a concern, I guess, with most people reading this book. I was just curious because I heard people talk about sports romances and they'll say they're not really a fan of the sport, and so I was curious what an author would do that as far as the aspects of the sport. She is a hockey fan, so she is certainly familiar with those, and it's good she included them in the book to the amount that I thought they were good. As I said, except there could have been a little more details given about how turnouts were of the games. The book I read part of this week is The Complete Tales of H.P. Lovecraft. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you know I've been reading this book on and off for several months. This is the fourth time for some of the tales. I'm currently the majority of the way through At the Mountains of Madness, my favorite Lovecraft story. One thing I didn't really notice on my previous reads is that in this story, which is novella length, Lovecraft kind of ties together some of the mythology in his other stories. So that was kind of interesting. Another thing I realized reading this book is that I had thought that At the Mountains of Madness was his only novella. For me, a novella is around 100 pages, but there are other stories in this book that are novella length too. So that was kind of interesting. I read some more of It's Raining Men and Corpses, Raina Son #1 by N.R. Tan. Overall, I am enjoying this book. As I said in my previous video, though, the one quibble I have with it is that I believe it's independently published, and it might just be that the author's the only one that took a look at this book, because I think it could use a little more editing. Now, it is a first book, and I should cut some slack for that and cut some slack for it being independently published. But I do think that mystery lovers are especially the type of reader that is they're going to pick up inconsistencies in a book. That's just the nature of how they're going to read it. So I think that that's something I wanted to mention, but overall I'm enjoying it. As far as my reading plans for the upcoming week, I want to continue to read The Complete Tales of H.P. Lovecraft. I might well finish it this week. And I want to continue to read Raining Men and Corpses by N.R. Tan. It's not a particularly long book, a little over 200 pages. And I also decided I'm going to partially take part in an Irish readathon. I watched a video by Nicole, Nicole's Bookish Nook. There are 6 or 7 prompts for this. I'm not going to do all 7. I'll probably come up with 1 or 2 and try to do those. But I would like to pick in this week those 1 or 2 books and maybe start reading one of them. So those are my priorities reading-wise for the upcoming week. Now I want to talk about the videos I released this week. The first video was reading wrap-up for the 2 weeks ending 2/28/2026. The second was the Rock On Country Songs book tag. The third is the Travel the World book tag. And I did decide when I'm gonna make my top priority and tags. Those 2 tags that I did videos for were tags created by friends of mine on here, original tags, and that's going to be my top priority as far as doing tags. If friends of mine on here create an original tag, I'm going to do that first. Then probably after that it'll be tags where several people have tagged me. So if there's more tagging me, then make that a second priority on tags. Next, I want to talk about the crochet project I'm working on. This is the Melt the Ice Hat. It is coming along pretty well. I have had my struggles. I did make a couple changes to the pattern for this upper part here. The stitch it said to do was a center single crochet stitch. I wasn't familiar with it, so I looked up a couple videos. Could see how to do it, but you're supposed to put the hook under an upside down V's, and I could not do that with regularity. So I just did single crochet stitches, and at the end of each round you're supposed to do an invisible join. That to me was just too much work, so I just continued going in the round. So it's like a kind of a corkscrew, similar to when you do woobles. You just keep going, and it goes like kind of like up like that. So a couple changes, but I think it's coming out pretty well. It is like a little, when I put it on, what I've done so far, it's a little bit loose. I should have in the ribbing part of it maybe cut out maybe a few rows, but I didn't, but that's fine. Overall it's going pretty well. I don't have too much left to do. And then after doing this, maybe I'll get back to doing a wooble. It's been a long time since I did a wooble. I did the puff stitch scarf, which took a long time, which I did find enjoyable, but it did take a long time. And now I'm doing this one, which is taking a long time. So the next thing I crochet will probably be a wooble, and I have a whole bunch of them to do. As far as a video game I'm playing, I've been playing Wylde Flowers. I'm quite enjoying it. Cozy game. Just the right amount of challenge for me. Do various tasks. Plant and harvest vegetables and flowers and fruits. Fish. Cook meals. Cut down trees and use a pick to chop up rocks to get various ores and sometimes jewels and other stuff. So quite enjoying it. Interesting cast of characters in the game. As far as the music I'm listening to, I listen to Rammstein, Guns N' Roses, and Ash Nico. The first song I listened to from Guns N' Roses is tied in with books because at the end of Interview with the Vampire, the original one, I'm not sure if there was more than one, but I'm talking about the one with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt and Antonio Banderas. And the song Lestat's kind of riding off. I can't say in the sunset because it'd have to be after dark, but riding off in a convertible, and the Guns N' Roses cover of Sympathy for the Devil, the Rolling Stones song, was playing, and I remember that scene quite fondly. So I played that, and I played some other Guns N' Roses songs. Haven't played Ash Nico for a while, but if you've been following me for a while, you know she's my favorite modern artist. So I've been playing her again. Other than that, we're still having sometimes a little bit iffy weather. We had some freeze rain. We had some mixed precipitation, a little snow. So some days I didn't go out. I don't take chances anymore. One advantage is being retired. I don't have to go out. So my schedule is kind of mixed up. I did go out to eat a few times, but I'm kind of a structured person, and it's been a little bit of upheaval. I did watch a little bit of women's basketball. The conference tournaments have started for them. And from Connecticut, the University of Connecticut team is one I watch more than anybody. Although I've done a poor job this year of actually watching games. But I really want to, conference tournaments and the NCAA tournament starts, watching more again. I would be interested in knowing how your reading week went, what books you've been reading, also what music you've been listening to. If you'd like to let me know, please add a comment. If you can't think of anything else to comment, please add an emoji. Perhaps a basketball for the NCAA Women's Tournament. Perhaps a video game controller for the video game I'm playing. Or an emoji of your choice, of course. I hope you're having a wonderful reading week. I hope you're having a wonderful week in general. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, please subscribe. Please hit the bell to get notified when I upload future videos.